Have you ever looked at the pyramids and wondered how they were built? These massive ancient structures have been standing for over 4,000 years, and they're still one of the greatest mysteries in the world. How did people back then move such heavy stone blocks without modern machines? Well, a team of scientists might have just found the answer, and it's all about a lost river. Let's take a trip back in time to ancient Egypt. The pyramids, especially the famous ones at Giza, were built as tombs for pharaohs, the kings of Egypt. But building them wasn't easy. The stones used to make the pyramids were enormous. Some weighed as much as a car. Moving these stones from quarries to the pyramid sites would have been a huge challenge. For a long time, people thought the Egyptians used ramps and sleds to drag the stones across the desert. But that still doesn't explain how they moved so many heavy blocks over such long distances. Now, a group of researchers from the University of North Carolina, Wilmington has come up with a new idea. They think the ancient Egyptians used a river to help them transport the stones. But here's the twist. This river doesn't exist anymore. It's been buried under sand and farmland for thousands of years. The scientists used special technology to find this lost river, and their discovery could change how we understand the pyramids forever. So, how did they find this hidden river? The team used something called radar satellite imagery. This is a special kind of technology that can see through the ground to find things buried underneath. They also looked at old maps, did surveys of the land, and even took samples of soil to figure out where the river used to be. After a lot of hard work, they found evidence of a huge river that once flowed right next to the pyramids. They named it the Ahramat Branch. Ahramat means pyramids in Arabic. This river was about 64 kilometers, 39 miles long, and between 200 and 700 meters, 656 to 2,296 feet wide. That's big enough to carry heavy stones and other materials needed to build the pyramids. The scientists think this river was active during the time the pyramids were built, which was between 4,700 and 3,700 years ago. That means the ancient Egyptians could have used boats to move the stones instead of dragging them across the desert. But why did the river disappear? The researchers believe it was buried because of a big drought and sandstorms that happened thousands of years ago. Over time, the river dried up and the sand covered it completely. That's why no one knew it was there until now. This discovery is a big deal because it helps explain how the pyramids were built. Moving heavy stones by boat would have been much easier than dragging them across the desert. The river would have been like a highway for the ancient Egyptians, helping them transport everything they needed to build these incredible structures. One of the scientists, Dr. Suzanne Onstein, explained how important this discovery is. She said finding this river and having proof that it was used to transport heavy blocks, equipment, and people really helps us understand how the pyramids were built. She also pointed out that using the river's energy to move the stones would have saved a lot of effort. Instead of relying on human strength alone, the Egyptians could have used the power of the water to do the hard work for them. The River Nile has always been the heart of Egypt. It's the longest river in the world, and it's been providing water, food, and transportation for thousands of years. Even today, the Nile is super important to the people of Egypt. This new discovery shows just how much the ancient Egyptians relied on the river to build their civilization. The Ahramat Branch wasn't just any river, it was a key part of the pyramid building process. The scientists found that this river ran right next to 31 different pyramids, including the famous ones at Giza. That means the river was probably used to transport materials for all of these pyramids over a period of 1,000 years. But the river wasn't just useful for building pyramids, it would have also been a source of water for the workers and a way to transport food and other supplies. The ancient Egyptians were really smart about using the resources they had, and this river was one of their most important tools. Now, you might be wondering how the scientists figured all of this out. It wasn't easy. They had to use a lot of different tools and techniques to map the river. First, they used radar satellites to take pictures of the ground from space. These satellites can see through the sand and find things that are buried underneath. Then, they used historical maps to see if there were any clues about where the river might have been. Next, they did something called geophysical surveys. This is a way of studying the ground to find hidden features like rivers or ancient buildings. Finally, they took samples of soil from different places to see if they could find evidence of the river. By putting all of this information together, they were able to create a map of the Ahramat Branch. This discovery is exciting because it gives us a new way to think about the pyramids. For a long time, people thought the Egyptians built the pyramids using only human labor, but now we know they had help from the river. This shows just how clever and resourceful the ancient Egyptians were. The pyramids are one of the most famous landmarks in the world, and they've been fascinating people for thousands of years. But there's still a lot we don't know about them. Every new discovery, like this lost river, helps us understand a little more about how they were built and what life was like in ancient Egypt. So what does this mean for the future? Well, scientists are always looking for new ways to learn about the past. This discovery shows that even after thousands of years, there are still secrets waiting to be uncovered. Who knows what else we might find buried under the sand? As we learn more about the pyramids, we also learn more about the people who built them. The ancient Egyptians were incredible engineers, and they left behind a legacy that still amazes us today. The pyramids are a reminder of what humans can achieve when they work together and use their creativity to solve problems. So the next time you see a picture of the pyramids, think about the lost river that helped build them. It's a story of ingenuity, perseverance, and the power of nature. And who knows, maybe one day, you'll be the one to uncover the next big secret about ancient Egypt. What do you think about this discovery? Do you believe the river was the key to building the pyramids, or do you think there's more to the story? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed learning about this fascinating piece of history, don't forget to like and subscribe for more amazing stories from the past. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.